Hey there YouTube, Air of Carthage here, gonna bring you some Gamer Dudester commentary tournament action. This is actually my second match of the tournament. For those of you who didn't see the first, I will annotate that in so you can check it out. I played against Gamer Dudester and lost, so this is my first match in the losers bracket. Winning the losers bracket will give me a second chance at the finals. So that's my goal. Don't know that it's real likely, but I'm gonna go for it. And so this is my match against Frewd 100 of YouTube, and I will be putting up annotations for you to click to watch his video of this, and to also check out his channel if you'd like to see what he does. So click those links if you want to go check that out. And this battle is actually going to be really quick, and you can already hear them calling out hidden units. I'm going to quickly give you a rundown of the armies, and then do some explaining. Actually, I'll just pause it real quick, and then I'll go into the slow motion. I have 4 matchlock samurai making up my front line. That's what they look like right there. I brought them because they have a rapid fire ability that allows them to reload very quickly for a short amount of time. I've got 5 units of Yari Ashigaru, and most of them, it's not showing their upgrades, but most of them are upgraded. It's probably just because, oh, here it is, some of their upgrade flags down here. Usually when it gets paused, it messes up the unit flags a little. I have 4 of them that have good upgrades, I think 4 chevrons, and then I have 1 of them that has no chevrons, and that's this one right here. And my idea was to use this to draw in missile fire. I have 4 units of Katana Cavalry with no upgrades. Katana Cavalry is very much superior to any opposing. As far as stats, they have 14 morale and 20 attack, which is pretty massive. So they are very powerful, and this is meant to be, at least my idea behind the strategy, of course, was to have my infantry body be very defensive, and you can see that here. So I'm playing defensively with matchlock and pikes to ward off cavalry charges, and my general will support them. My general right here is Takeda Shingen, and let's see, about halfway down we should see him. There he is. Yeah, so there's Takeda Shingen. I brought him. He has good leadership ability, and I'm protecting him this time with one of my Yari Ashigaru directly, learning from the mistake that I made in the last battle. And then out here I have 3 Takeda Bow Cavalry. These guys also have very good morale, better than the regular Bow Cavalry. So yeah, that's my force, and my idea was to have a very mobile army, but with a very potent missile component right here in the center. And my idea was to kind of confuse my opponent into not knowing whether to focus on these fast-moving horse archers, the Yari cavalry threatening his flank, or this infantry body along with my Katana cavalry here. The Katana cavalry was meant to be mobile infantry for me in this fight, to give me sword infantry, but not just typical sword infantry, to give me some sword infantry with some versatility and mobility. Frewd 100 has chosen an all-infantry army, and up front he's got 4 units of Yari Ashigaru, leading the way for 6 units of Nodachi Samurai. And these guys do have some pretty seriously good upgrades. I think they're about 4 chevrons apiece. So some very tough Nodachi units. And he's probably hoping to use those in a bonsai attack like I've showed you before. And then behind all that he's got 2 units of matchlock samurai as well. And then out here he's got his general, which is Hattori Hanzo. And there he is. Alright, so let's get things started here. I'm going to put it in a slow motion because I think this battle all in all lasted, the actual fighting part of it lasted for about 3 minutes. So it was a very short battle. However, I'm not going to give away to you what happens. Obviously, the Hattori can deploy outside of their deployment zone, and that's why Frewd's army started so close to mine in this battle. So here you're seeing me make a very, very quick change in my my location. I noticed that I was deployed on this little hill here, and I'm going to deploy to where I can use this hill defensively against what's obviously going to be a rush attack from Frewd. And here I have my Yari cavalry. I was just getting them out of the way, and I'm going to start moving them out to the flank because I want to keep him guessing. Over here I started to run my bow cavalry on his flank, and all of a sudden out popped a unit of matchlock samurai, which cut down a few of my men. And then out pops another unit of matchlock samurai. And my guys are going to unleash a lot of arrows, but you have to remember that the woods give a whole lot of fire, or cover fire, or covering from fire to units. So I'm not really going to do a whole lot of damage, even though I'm putting a lot of arrows in there. And I'm just going to eventually just run my men back really quick because I don't want them to get in there because a couple of units of Yari Ashigaru popped out as well. So he's got a heavy matchlock component, 5 units of matchlock samurai. Alright, so you can see that he is doing what I thought, which is charging forward. I used, actually in my last tournament battle, I actually used unit grouping and I complained about it. Since then I received some messages and some advice on how to use unit groupings properly. It wasn't the unit groupings that screwed up, it was air that was screwed up in the last battle. So unit groupings work just fine, and you can see that I actually, now that I know how to use them better, I use my unit groupings to quickly reposition my force very well on this hill, and I'm also using it to control my cavalry in nice little groups. So the unit groupings actually kind of saved my butt in this battle, whereas in the last battle I felt like trying to say that they messed me up, when really it was just me messing up the unit formations. So yeah, you really should learn how to use, that was cool. You really should learn how to use unit formations. Because I think it, or group formations, because they can really help you get your troops organized in a very good fashion, I think. Now I charged forward my katana cavalry again. I said I wanted mobile striking infantry. I charged them forward here in order to basically blunt the assault of his Nodachis, who had already been pretty shot up by my matchlocks. And so this is going to slow them down, beat them up a little, because these Nodachi would have beat my my spear units in just moments. And whenever you have a matchlock army, or a heavily based matchlock army, you can't allow that to happen. So now that he's committing to the fight, I'm charging my Yari in. Now I do have to have my eyes on the matchlock fight, the cavalry fight on both flanks, so I do get confused a little bit during this fight, and this is one of those instances where here you can see I'm going to get a great charge on these Nodachi, but here my cavalry accidentally runs straight into this Yari unit. They do cause some massive damage though, because it wasn't prepared for the charge. And then over here I get some pretty good massive damage on these Nodachi units, because I hit them straight from behind. But these Nodachi units are in bonsai mode, so it's you can see the morale's finally starting to waver since it's wearing off, but these guys, definitely some tough units. And my Yari charge doesn't rout them, mainly because they're not facing super tough infantry from the front. You can see one of his Nodachi units just routed here along with the Yari Ashigaru. So now I've moved my own Yari Ashigaru here, and I'm going to try and ward off some of his spears so that I can then get my my Takeda bow cavalry into his matchlock samurai who are in those woods. There's my bow cav unleashing some arrows. We can follow those in here. See, I don't think they really do all that much damage. Bow cavalry is not overly accurate, really, but it can still be used effectively as a distraction and otherwise. So here you can see that I've also got my Yari cavalry back into some of these matchlock units, just disrupting them, killing some of their men, keeping them from being able to participate in the fight, though my Yari cavalry is going to get killed by these Yari Ashigaru. And my other Yari unit is still attacking these Nodachi samurai over there. So basically we have a huge infantry blob going on in the center. And like I said, my slowing force of katana cavalry has really done the job. But he does have spears in here reinforcing now, and I'm not going to want to keep my katana cavalry in here any longer than I really need to. So here in a moment I'm going to, you can see that I've reformed my matchlock line, or at least part of it. And I'm going to be continuing to reform my matchlock line. And I'm going to then, you can see it starting now. I'm retreating my katana cavalry behind my Yari Ashigaru, who are still here. And the Yari Ashigaru are just going to act as a minimal holding force, so that I can now start pouring matchlock fire down the hill onto Frewd's troops. So that's kind of my idea in this case, is to get them out, save them for a later point in the fight in case I need them, because they are a very powerful mobile force in my army, and I don't want to lose them to his Yari Ashigaru needlessly. And you can already see some of my matchlock units starting to fire down into these Hattori troops, and that's going to have a morale effect on these guys eventually. You can see this unit right here is a little bit yellow, this unit here is a little bit yellow, but he does have a lot more men in this area, and his general has just gone into the stand and fight mode. So I'm definitely not going to want to sit here and duke it out with men who are in stand and fight without having a better plan. Let's see, my Yari Cav out here is going to get taken out finally. But over on this flank, I took out his spears, and you can see my Takeda bow cavalry are crushing his matchlock samurai on the flank. So Frewd had a very good flanking force here. It's just that I was able to get his spears out of the way, and this is what happens when there aren't any spears there to defend your matchlock units against even very weak cavalry. Cavalry will just ruin matchlock units. He has another matchlock unit here, though, that he's going to try and take some shots, but again, my men are up in the woods, and so it is going to help protect them a little, even though it doesn't really look like it would. Alright, so the fight down here in the center, you can see that he's broken through, or about to break through my last unit, and so I have a couple of more units of, or I have at least one more unit of Yari Ashigaru here, and I'm going to go ahead and commit them to the fight here in a moment, just again as a holding force so I can continue to take shots. You can see that I've activated the rapid volley and then clicked an attack order on Hattori Hanzo, who is here in the square stand and fight formation. And again, this is in slow motion. I am going to actually play this whole battle at regular speed right after this, just so you can see what it looks like in slow motion and at regular speed, so you can get an idea of the intensity and the speed of this fight. But you can see how quickly Hattori Hanzo's unit is just being absolutely shredded by my matchlocks on the rapid fire. They can pretty much just pour down a constant stream of fire for a very short period of time whenever you put them in this rapid reload. Definitely a handy thing if you can get your matchlock in good position. And you can see now that Hattori Hanzo is the only man in that unit left, and he's now dodging matchlock fire, or getting hit by it. I mean, the general doesn't usually die right away in these kind of things. Otherwise, your general would constantly die, like, instantly. Check out. So, yep, he just got gunned down. So is the fate of Hattori Hanzo in this fight. Is pretty barbaric of me to cut him down with matchlock fire. I don't know if that would have been considered honorable back in these times. But in any case, I had to take out that general so that his men would start losing the will to fight, and you can see that that is the case. His men are finally demoralizing there. But again, I did have my reserve of katana cavalry just in case, and that was going to be what I was going to use. And I was also going to put Takeda Shingen into stand and fight if necessary. But at this point, his troops start to rout. My bow cavalry has broken through, and even if his troops had been able to stay in the fight, they would have started being showered from behind with missiles. So really, my bow cavalry ended up being a very critical force in this game, because they were able to prevent his flanking force from effectively firing on my flank. And all that matchlock fire will demoralize your troops, and especially since I was just using mainly Yari Ashigaru as my infantry, they break relatively easy. But this Yari Ashigaru unit right here, too, also got a very high number of kills during the fight. So there was a couple of units, and you'll see that in the results screen. So I have to say that this was probably the funnest game that I have played in a long time. I just thoroughly enjoyed that game with Frewd. Good game to him, very interesting strategy. Stay tuned right here, because I'm going to, again, like I said, show you this battle at full speed. And then also I'll have the results screen and everything for you afterwards. Alright, so here we are. This is just going to be the regular speed version. I just want to give you an idea of how quickly everything happened. So right when the battle started, you can see I started immediately clicking orders to my troops. I reformed my line there. Again, this was thanks to unit groupings. I'm really glad that I was able to learn how to use those right, because again, I really think that it helped me win this fight. So there we go. You can see my army quickly reforming and staying in formation, which is critical. Formation is very, very important in matchlock-based armies, because they have to be in the best possible formation to inflict the most damage. So there you can see that I was able to realign my men quickly. They're opening fire, and Frewd's charge, which was very quick, is going to be met with some heavy matchlock casualties here. You can see that it caused about 40 casualties. In this case, even more than that. And then there comes my katana cavalry. Start mixing it up with these guys. So a very fast-paced battle. Over here, I did make the micro mistake of letting him get most of this matchlock unit. I tried running them away, but these morons always turn around and come back trying to fight. You know how that happens. Here yeah, see here, they're starting to turn around. I keep telling them to run away. But these Nodachis are going to chew up this Yari Ashigaru unit pretty bad. That's my Yari cavalry right there assisting, and it's the only thing that helped that fight on this flank last a little longer, or else he probably would have been able to wrap up that flank. Here's what's going on over on the flank where his flanking force was hidden in the woods. You can see my bow cavalry ripping a little bit into this Yari Ashigaru unit, just whittling their numbers down. This unit has already routed. And look, I'm using a screening action here. This is actually quite good if you assist your cavalry with spears. And here you can see me running that screen. So I'm going to busy his spears, and then my cavalry will be free. I should have been charging already, but my attention is all over the battlefield, and I'm just doing the best I can to keep up. There's my katana cavalry retreating. So this is the point where I start to reinforce with more Yari troops. And here in a moment you'll see me click the rapid fire ability. Yep, it's now on. So here any moment my matchlock should be charging forward to start taking shots at Hattori Hanzo. So yeah, this is how quickly this battle happened. So hopefully this will give you an idea then of how kind of fast and furious the fight was, so to speak. I guess I waited just a bit to fire at Hattori. Yeah, you can see it now. Here's the point where you can see how quickly I was able to mop up those matchlock samurai units, but he had another one right here too that I had to work through. My plan was to just take my bow cavalry into his general, but when I saw they were going to be delayed, this is where I opened up and started shooting him. I didn't want that stand and fight ability keeping his Nodachis and other troops in this fight any longer than necessary. So there goes poor Hattori Hanzo. I like how a bunch of the horses got shot on the way through there too. That was brutal, brutal volley of matchlock. And at this point, that was pretty much the end of the fight. You can see his remaining troops starting to waver. His matchlock unit here gets off a sweet volley actually right before the fight was over. Pretty devastating. But in any case, great game, like I said to Frewd. It was a whole lot of fun. I'll have the results screen here, and just hope you enjoyed that battle. You can see the results screen. Basically, let me show you well, you can see how many men were deployed. Frewd 100 deployed a lot of men. 2,100 men is a huge number of men on the field, and it was a great danger to me considering the type of army I brought. And you can also see how many kills I got here and how many kills he got. So he killed half of my troops, so it's not like he got, well, I mean, overall it says I lost 1,000 men. That's because my matchlock probably killed a certain number of my own men as well. So overall I lost a lot of my force. So it was a bloody battle for both sides, to be sure. And here I have my kill, or each unit's kills arranged by, I guess, the highest kills. See, one of my Yari Ashigaru units got the most. And then my Takeda bow cavalry actually made a huge impact on the battle. And you should have noticed that in the replay. Of course, the replay happens so quick, you have to keep watch. You can also see that my matchlock Ashigaru, or sorry, my matchlock samurai, a couple of those units made a big impact on the battle as well. And then as you move on down, you'll see that Takeda Shingen, of course, just lent his leadership abilities, and of course never really intended for him to be a brutal slaughterer of troops. Anyway, man, this game was fantastic. It was really fun. It's just hilarious from start to finish. Like I said, when the battle started, I just like took a dump in my pants almost because I was so scared. Saw a whole dang army right in front of me. You know, I knew the Hattori could do that, but you just don't expect it, and I think that's why Frewd 100 tried it. Of course, I'll be linking up to his video or to his channel, and you can hear it from his side. Great game, really great game. Really enjoyed it. Hopefully, I'll have a good time in the rest of the tournament. It's been very fun so far, and I really appreciate Frewd playing against me there and coming up with a tricky strategy that really, I think, really made the game very interesting. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be back with more in the near future.